Going on? We're gonna get started in just a second. I got Facebook going. Welcome to the Hatbox Social tonight. So as you all know, the way that we start every show is I like to start with a little bit of music. So I'm gonna wait for a few of you to just round and join on in so that I can get started and I can have you all guess what this song is gonna be. Okay? We are talking about crabs in a bucket tonight. This is actually part 2. This one is gonna be really good. I'm excited about it. Hey, lady. Nice to see. I was able to log in this time, right? Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. I see you guys are logging on in. Happy we getting this opportunity to be together. Y'all see I got my little Christmas tree in the back in the Christmas spirit. Yes, ma'am. I'm so happy you got to join in. And also thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Every share, even when you sent me the email like, hey, where are you at? I really appreciate that. I see it and I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it. So Instagram, I got you guys over here. How you doing? I am going to get started with our song actually, so that we can go ahead and get started with the show. So tonight I have another song that I want you guys to try to guess what this song is. If you know the song, type it down in the comments below, okay? And let me know if you can hear it too, or if it's too loud or... And of course it goes with our theme. Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it over there on Instagram? Hi, Miss Marilee. Good to see you. Right now we're playing the guessing game. If you know this song, I want you to type it down in the comments and let me know that you recognize the song. You can hear it good? Okay, cool. So nobody knows what it is yet. I take it you're saying yes, that you can hear it. Thank you. Does anybody have any idea what this song is? Was this one too hard tonight? This your jam? Okay, so the way that we play the guessing game is I need you to tell me the title of the song and the artist if you know it. If you know the title of the song and the artist, let me know. If you don't know the exact title, Nope. What's up, Elver? How you doing? Nope. If you don't know the exact title of the song, Curious Midnight Star, you know what? Okay, so listen, let me put a disclaimer on this. This song is actually a song that is current, that has been sampled, if that helps. So no, this is not the original versions. This song has been see, yeah, no. No. This is the sampled version. Somebody sampled Midnight Star. Does that help? This is a 2018 song. '18 song, but someone sampled this. No one knows it, huh? I guess this one was too hard tonight. It goes with our theme, because remember tonight this is part 2. We're talking about crabs in a bucket, and we know that last show. Still thinking. Jesus will fix it. You know, no. But thank you, Albert. Oh, I got a winner chicken dinner. I think I got 2 of y'all. Living My Best Life by Lil Duval. Yes, that is what this song is tonight. The reason why I picked that song, I think, yeah, Cecil did get it. Oh, what was it, 2017? Are you trying to? Yeah, Elver, that was funny. Nice try. No go. Was it 2017, y'all? I thought it was 2018. Okay, let me put it like this. I heard it in 2018. If I'm late, my bad. So listen, I am excited about tonight's show. I am looking forward to tonight's show. If you did not get to catch part one, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, what we have been talking about is crabs in a bucket. And basically, what we were talking about is the day and times that we live in. We know that so much is going on in this world, but with everything that is going on, it seems like it's been really hard for people to be supportive to each other. It's like we always have people that are going against what we're trying to do. Hey, Rose, going against what we're trying to do. What's up, Devern? And the thing is that we have to be able to recognize when we're dealing with crabs in a bucket. So you guys always know that before I get started, I like to give a shout out, because I am supportive, I try to be, to people who are running businesses. There is a young lady here in the city of Stockton, and I'm gonna grab her stuff real quick. There's a young lady here in the city of Stockton. I want to give her a shout out. Her name is Anita Starks. She makes these, the bonnets that you wear, like that go on your head, and she has like all different colors. I have the black one here. I ordered a navy blue one, but she does like floral prints, African prints, all kind, and they're the ones that can go either up top or you can wear it to the side. You know, y'all know, ladies, get cute with it. But she does these and they're only $10. Her customer service was great. I appreciated her customer service. She found out what color I liked. She found out what color I liked and everything else. She was on time. It fits perfect, actually. So she's great. Once again, Anita Starks. At the end of this video, you will see a link to her to where you can order if you want to be a support to that business. All right, so back to the show topic, crabs in a bucket. So like I said, last time we were talking about the different things that we deal with, the way to identify crabs in a bucket. And a couple of those ways were, first of all, let me cover that. I was also talking about the phenomenon of what happens when you put crabs in a bucket and where that term came from. So if you didn't get to watch part one, I'm gonna go through that really quick and then I'm gonna move on. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But if you watch that show, what we were talking about is when you put crabs in a bucket and there's no water, they're outside of their regular environment and all of that, they see one crab begin to crawl up the side to attempt to get out or attempt to escape. Those crabs begin to pull that crab down. And what happens is no one makes it out. Those crabs begin to fight, and they actually fight to the death, to where no one can make it out. So the one that is trying to hold somebody down and is trying to hold somebody back, they don't make it out. They actually end up killing themselves off in this battle that it becomes. But then also, you have the crab, of course, that was trying to make it out, but was surrounded by its peers that was killed off. And I was thinking about part of that I don't think I covered enough last time on the show, was that if you think about that phenomenon, we're talking about all these crabs that are in the bucket together. They are in this thing together. They are in the struggle together. They are trapped in this environment together. And you have one that's trying to make it out and trying to do something different and trying to do something better. And then you have the peers around that person that's trying to tear them down. And what I noticed is, hey, Court, and what I noticed is that sometimes it's the people that are closest to us, that are in our very circles, that seem to be the least supportive, that seem to be the ones that don't want to see us make it. And we wonder where this mentality comes from and what's happening and where this stuff comes from. And once again, I'll revert you back to my show, It Hurts, where I talked about the way people respond in life. Sometimes we need to look at what happened in our past, look at our own heart conditions to determine why do we respond to certain things a certain way. And so with that being said, I began to look around, and I thought about different circumstances and situations that I've been in. And I noticed that as long as I was doing things that my peers wanted me to do, they were okay with me. But when it came time for me to branch out and sometimes do my own things, you find people to start trying to pull you back. And the way you identify those things, it can come up in different ways. Example, you are so excited about something, they begin to downplay your ideas, or they begin to put criticism on what you're trying to do, or they discourage you and say, girl, you think you really can do that? I don't know. Hi, EJ, long time no see. Girl, I don't know if you really should do that. Or they have harsh words for you, or they are just straight up evil and sabotage what you're trying to do. And so we have to be able to, number one, recognize our circle. I always talk about doing a squad check. And I notice that some people begin to hashtag that on some of their posts and things on Facebook. And they begin to hashtag squad check. And so I begin to think about that. And you have to know what your circle is. You have to know what's going on. And so I'm reading this comment right now. Because like I told you all, I also wanted to cover, I had a couple people that hit me up in my inbox from the last show, and they had questions and they had comments. Please do not think that you're going to offend me by making comments on this show or asking me questions directly on the show. I don't know everything. I don't profess to know everything. I'm coming on and I'm sharing my wisdom from my experiences, but I am always open to what others have to say and what your perspective on life has been and what you've experienced. That's why this is called a conversation. Like I always tell you, I don't just want to do a show where I'm talking at you, but I want to get back what you're saying. So you're saying that if there's no water in the bucket, then that's called survival. That's what we covered on the last show, was that when they're put in this bucket and there's no water, is when you see this phenomenon happen. But if they're all in the same water and one's trying to maneuver away and they're held back, then that's hate. Then that's the hate. Exactly. But you know what? When you think about it, when it's called survival, let me tell you the problem. We all out here trying to make it. We're all trying to survive in one way or another. And the cold part about it is that we don't have enough people that take on the mentality to say, you know what, we're all trying to make it. I'm going to help you, and I want you to help me. I'm going to be there to be a support to you, and I'm going to have your back. And that person will say, well, you know what, I'll do that in return. Instead, what we begin to do is we begin to fight each other for what we're trying to get accomplished, trying to survive, yes, but in that mode, we begin to go against those in our circle, in our camp, who can be the very ones that can help us to make it out of that situation. But instead, we have allowed our mindsets to become so small that we don't allow ourselves to grow and be able to do better and allow people to support us. It goes back to what I said last show. We should be the person with our hands like this. If there's someone trying to get out of something and you were kids and they were trying to hop that fence and you put your hands like this and they stand on you and you go like this and you get them over the fence, we should all be doing that in this life. When we see that there's somebody trying to make it out, somebody's trying to do better, we should be there to support them and lift them up and be that boost that they need. But instead, we got what you call haters. Same thing as crabs in a bucket. And then we wonder why no one's making it out and no one's doing it better. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was thinking about the different environments that this happens in. And like I said, some of these conversations you may not agree with and you don't have to. But culturally and also as women, we are some of the most unsupportive people I have ever seen in my life. I'm just being honest. It seems like as women, there's always a competition. We always got to look better than the next. She can't do better than me. She ain't smarter than me, and she ain't this and she ain't that. And for my men that have logged in, do you all experience that as men? Because right now, I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. I know what I've experienced as a woman, that there has been other women. See, there has been other women that you looking for this woman to be a support, and instead it's a woman that is sitting here and they act like they can't be a support. And you're like, what is going on? We all out here trying to make it. Especially like if you're in the corporate world, we know that that's a man's world, and you have other women in management that would try to keep the next person from coming up because they don't want to give up their spot or they don't want to steal their shine. Like, really? Where do we get that from? So men, do I have any men on here that can tell me yes or no? Does that happen to you? EJ, are you saying that happens with men too? What about you, Cecil? I need to know, because I know for women that happens. Grabbers versus boosters. Ooh, I like that. Yes, ma'am. I like that. Grabbers versus boosters. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I've noticed that it happens a lot when it comes to genders with women, but it also happens culturally. And I know that everybody that tunes in or watches this show is not Black, African American. I am, if you can't tell, melanin. So I'm speaking from my experience. And what I have noticed is that Black women, we be hating on each other. And I don't know, you see it every day. Exactly. I don't know if this comes from what happened back in the slave days where, you know, we had the house slaves, we had the ones that was in the field, the lighters versus the darkers and all of that stuff. And we've still carried that mindset. I don't know, but it's time for us to do better. We have to do better. It's just like the boxer that just had to fight this weekend, Deontay Wilder. He was making a speech one day and he was talking about how he's fighting because we had been fighting for 400 years. And then you had a Black reporter ask him a question of, what you mean by that? And he kind of got upset and was like, you know what I mean? And it's like, we've been fighting for so long. Why are we still fighting each other? Why are we not being a support to the next person? Why are we not handing out wisdom to each other to be able to make it out and be able to do better and make it out of the situations that have held us back and that have held our minds back? Does anybody have any feedback on that? Some of these comments, when y'all go real long, I won't be able to read them all. Who lifts the booster after he or she's lifted everyone else over the hump? Someone is still in the bucket. How do you correct that? I can always depend on Devern Cotton to give me some food for thought, y'all. You know what? As far as that last person, I don't know. You tell me what you think about that. I really don't know. I'm just being honest. I hadn't thought that far. I don't know. I don't know about that last person. I just have this theory that I feel like that we all make it out some type of way. Because actually what could happen is that last person, here we go. That last person, we can throw a rope down to that person and get them out because we already made it. Gotcha. Yes. We already made it out. So then we can throw something down. There you go, Black. There we go. Throw them a rope. Yep. We can throw something down so they can then make it out and they can climb out too. Then we all out of there together. Thank you. That answers that question. Exactly. No one left behind because we allowed at least that one person to make it up out of that. The sad part is that it stand out in our race more than any other race. I agree. That's for me now. I'm not trying to put anybody on blast, so I'm not going to say your name, but everybody on here is not Black right now. And if you're in another culture, can you please give me some feedback to if you experience that in your culture? Because we do. And if you don't want to say anything, you don't have to either. You can send me a comment or something later and I can share it on another post if you don't feel comfortable. I don't want to put you on blast. But yeah, good or bad, it's all about survival, but we're all trying to survive. And I'm trying to get us out of that mindset where we think that in order to survive, we have to kill off somebody else. We don't have to do that. We do not have to do that. We do not have to kill off the next person's dreams. We don't have to kill off the next person's desires in their life. We don't have to kill off somebody else for us to make it. We just don't. It's just like right now, I am going through, honestly, a separation of my circle. Okay. My circle is changing. And I don't want to be too specific because I don't want people to feel like I'm talking about just them because it's not about that. But what I begin to notice is that as long as I was in that circle doing things the way those people wanted me to, I was good. I was okay. But anytime I tried to branch out and do my own thing, there was always a problem. Hey, Tara. Hey, Kev. Good to see y'all. There was always a problem. And so even now, I had someone send me a message, and I won't say who, and it could be anybody, so don't be trying to be all up in the business. Right, Court? That's my sis, y'all. But someone sent me a message, and they were saying that Even with me doing the Hatbox Social, there are others who are endeavoring to do some things in the city, and they're endeavoring to do some things online and things like that. And this person told me that they felt uncomfortable because they felt like they had to choose, and they felt like they were being forced to choose. And I had to let that person know, like, let me tell you something. There is no line in the sand. Okay, let's be clear. I want everybody to make it in their God-given talents. And actually, Kevin that's on here, this is my childhood friend. And it's funny because our families grew up together, our mothers, and in Richmond. And then we ended up being friends in a whole nother city. And we've just always kind of stayed in touch, like here on Facebook and stuff like that. And he's running his own business, by the way. I'll be giving a shout out to him too, he and his lovely wife. But Kev had posted something recently. And Kevin, if you remember what you posted, please let me know the exact words. But basically, he was saying that he loves everybody and we can be a support to everybody. We don't have to compete. And so I really would like to see people begin to be a support. When you see that somebody is trying something and they're stepping out on their God-given gifts, why would you hate on that? Why? There's no purpose of that. If you're the crab that you find in yourself hating on other people's businesses and you're hating on other people's endeavors and other people's dreams, you really need to sit back and question where your own self-esteem is and figure out what it is that is causing you to try to draw others down. Because we don't have to draw lines in the sand. We really don't. This does not have to become a tit for tat thing when you see that people are trying to make it. That is why at the beginning of every single show, you will see me give a shout out to a business, or you will see me give a shout out to someone who is attempting to do something in the community who hasn't gotten a whole lot of shine. Because I know and I believe that my God is just so great that he has created all of us for something on the inside, that there's a lot of work to be done. And that was part of Kevin's post, actually. There's a lot of work to be done. There's plenty of room for all of us. Let's get this work done and let's stop worrying about trying to pull down everybody else. We all trying to make it. We're all trying to survive. And we can't be so close-minded that we're okay with people as long as they're doing stuff for us. But as soon as they step out to do something different, we have a problem with it. So I've noticed that yes, some of your biggest growth has happened when you were supporting someone else, similar to an internship. I like that. I like the thought of that. Exactly. Some of our biggest growth has been when we are supporting somebody else. I completely agree with that. And I believe that is because God honors the heart with that. And so therefore he begins to bless you because you're planting seed in the ground that he's able to come back and water. That's good seed when you're able to sow into somebody else. Sowing is in so many different ways. Supporting is a form of sowing seed. Why would you not be a support to somebody else? If they ain't killing nobody, if they ain't out here cutting nobody and hurting nobody or anything like that, then why would we not want to be a full support? So the different environments that I've noticed that we have that issue in, at first I said just women, but I had one of our men confirm for me that he sees it every single day. It's not just a woman's thing, and I appreciate the feedback on that. So we're experiencing that no matter what our gender is, apparently. I also said culturally. I am noticing that as Black folks, yes, we have a problem being a support to each other. We have to, I'm going to tell you right now, our white counterparts, our white friends, and if you're tuning into this show, we appreciate you too, but we're just going to talk about the difference between cultures. Don't be offended. But they will rally up and have each other's back and everything else, just like some of our voting stuff shows. When they believe in something, they want to go do it without a problem. But then you got us on the sideline sitting over here like, they ain't gonna pass me up. And then what happens? Everybody's sitting at the bottom of the bucket and we wondering why. We have to do better. And yes, I'm calling us out because I am one of us and I can do that. Another instance where I've seen this for myself is in churches. I'm just being honest. We got churches now. When I grew up, we had churches that fellowshipped all the time. They came together. There was no, I'm having church over here, I'm having church over there, you stay in your lane, I'm gonna stay in my lane. And what I have noticed in this day and age, at least where I'm at, in the area that I'm in, churches do not want to fellowship. Nobody's going to steal your shine. Nobody's going to steal your members. Probably them people probably don't even want your members if we really keep it 100, right? And it's like we can't even come together in fellowship. I've literally heard, because I've been in a lot of different areas in ministries, and I put an S on that. For those of you that want to try to guess who I'm talking about, don't do it. I've been in ministries since I was little, and I have literally heard people make comments like, well, they stole our this and they stole our that. How are we going to win the kingdom? And that's our mentality. How do we do that? Hey, Brenda. Hey, Nicole. How do we do that if we can't come together even on that level, even in that arena? What are we afraid of? Where's the support with that? What happened? How come we can't go be a support to this ministry and be a support to that one also without it being a problem or without there being questions asked about that? I'm going to tell you now, spiritually, that's a trick of the enemy to keep the church from accomplishing what it's supposed to accomplish, which is, number one, souls. It's not about how big your ministry is. It's not about how many people you got doing what. It's really not. Some of us have lost focus on what our assignment, on what our godly assignment is. I ain't gonna preach too much to y'all today, but for my church folks, y'all know what I'm talking about, and we gotta do better. There's people out here dying. People are killing themselves. You have children out here who are lost, confused in this world, and here we are worried about how many members the next people got. Who's doing what praise dance better? Who's singing praise and worship better than the other? Whose musicians are better than the other's musicians? For real? I just got a question to ask you as church folks. Is God pleased with that? Because the Bible says that God hates discord. And that's a form of discord when you can't come together and love each other as one body of Christ. I'm going to drop that nugget right there and I'm going to go on and move on. So listen, if you have noticed that you are surrounded by the crabs that begin to pull you down and they want to hold you back and they don't want to see you do better, I'm going to tell you now, you cannot be afraid to cut them folks off. You cannot be afraid to reestablish your circle. I've done it recently, and I'm going to be honest with you. My peace level has gone so far up because I haven't worried about who's hating on me behind my back or who's talking about me behind my back or who has something negative to say. I haven't been worried about that because I've made sure that my circle is secure. So you have to be able to not be afraid to make those steps to give yourself a peace of mind and to make sure that your support system is tight and that you don't have anybody who's trying to pull you down from your dreams and your goals and your visions and from what you know that you're supposed to accomplish. The other thing is, don't be afraid to call it out if you see it. If you're going to keep them people in your life, then don't be afraid to tell them that you see what they're doing. There's a way to do it to where you don't end up throwing no hands or nothing like that. But at the same time, we have to sometimes let people know, I see what you're doing and I'm not going for it. You have to call it what it is sometimes and recognize that thing so that it can go on and move forward and move on. It's just like we tell our kids to stand up to a bully. What's the difference as adults with us speaking up and saying how we're feeling about a certain situation? You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we get fearful of losing people and we get fearful of who's going to walk away or what our outcome is going to be. But you have to trust yourself and you have to trust your own wisdom and you have to trust your heart. You know what I'm saying? You can't be afraid to step out and do something different. You got to be willing to put yourself first and don't allow anybody else to put you on the back burner. Don't forget, I call this the Hat Box Social because the Hat Box, we wear so many hats all the time. We are our individual selves, yes, but we're mothers, we are fathers, we are husbands, we're wives, we are employees. Some of us are students, we are church members, we have all these different hats that we wear, and sometimes we forget to just take those hats off, put them away in the box, and remember who we were just individually to say, okay, listen, before I was anything else, for myself, I was Aisha. Before I became the Hat Box Social host, Miss I. Marie, I was Aisha. Before I was a wife, before I was a mother, I was Aisha. And there was a point in my life where I began to lose myself. And I had crabs pulling on me also, right? Trying to hold me back to what they felt like their standard was for my life. But I had to recognize what my own purpose was, and I had to begin to walk that thing out. And I couldn't be afraid to cut ties with those that weren't for me. And I had to really recognize and be true about it, because sometimes we are loyal to a fault. Everybody doesn't what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody doesn't, we shouldn't give everybody our loyalty. I forgot what I was trying to say with words, y'all. Deserve. There we go. Everybody does not deserve our loyalty. And sometimes we're being loyal to people who haven't even proven themselves to us, and we're wondering why we end up hurt. So listen, with this crabs in a bucket mentality, if you're the person that you know that there's times where you see someone who is thriving and they're doing better and you feel a certain type of way about it, begin to examine your heart and why you feel that way. Begin to take a look at yourself and say, man, how come I can't be happy for somebody else? Usually it's something that has already taken place in your life. Usually it's your own self-esteem. And sometimes you have to start tapping in on those things and begin to talk to yourself and build your own self-esteem so you can be happy for others. If you notice that you are surrounded by those crabs, I've already given you those steps. But I will tell you this, do not stop and do not allow anybody to hold you back from what you are supposed to accomplish. You understand what I'm saying? You can make it. You can do it. No matter who's trying to hold you back and hate on you, don't allow them to do that, because you are more than a conqueror. That's what God tells me. And he tells you that too in his word. So listen, I am not going to hold you any further tonight. I really appreciate you joining in to the Hatbox Social. A couple of things. I want to challenge you this week. I would love to see you all get on your Facebook pages, and I would love to see you throw support out to somebody. If you know someone who is starting a business, if you know someone who is doing something in the community, if you know someone who has just been a support to you, I would love to see on Facebook you give that person a shout out this week so that we can eliminate these crabs in a bucket. Lift somebody up, encourage somebody this week openly. Sometimes we have these little secret things that we do, but sometimes open acknowledgement fills someone's heart with love. So if you can, I challenge you this week to give a shout out to at least one person by Friday. I want to see you be able to do that on your Facebook page. And then if you can hashtag the Hatbox Social in that post. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, our next upcoming show is titled Cuffing Season. I got a show for y'all about cuffing season. And you guys know what I'm talking about. That's that clank clank season. Right now we are in cuffing season, and we got people racing to be cuffed. And then we got things happening in the meantime with that. So do not miss our next show, which is 2 weeks from now on Monday at 7:30 p.m. We will be live here on Facebook and on Instagram. And I encourage you to share this video, like this video, tell somebody about the Hatbox Social, and join me back here on time at 7:30 p.m. Last thing, if you got one thing out of this video, I need you to do me a favor and begin to give me those hearts and those thumbs up and those likes. If you could do that for me real quick, if you got one thing out of it. Also, if you got one thing out of it, like I always say, please share this video. I once again appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you so much. Here go the hearts. Thank you so much, and all the likes. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I am your host, Miss I. Marie, and this has been another episode of the Hatbox Social. I'll see you guys next time.